So, I just got back from Southern California. I try to go at least once every year or so to take a vacay, see some friends, visit the happiest place on earth, the usual stuff. However, this time, along with all those other things I just mentioned, I also thought it might be fun to attend Summer Game Fest. Zach and I had been expressing for the last couple of years each time we sat down to watch the show that it might be kind of fun to go and see it in person. And as it turns out, tickets aren't all that expensive, so why not take an impromptu trip to SoCal to see what old Jeff has cooking up? Well, Jeff and all of the development studios, of course. Fly on down, see some friends, visit Disneyland, and then cap it all off with a bunch of video game announcements and updates. Honestly, the main reason I was even interested in attending Summer Game Fest in the first place was because as a kid, I always dreamt of getting to one day go to E3. And it absolutely broke my heart when it was announced that not only would it not be returning in 2023, but unfortunately it would not be returning at all. It really sucks that after being an industry-only event for so long, in its later years, it did finally open up to the public, just in time for me to still not be able to go because it was fully and completely canceled. I missed my chance. Or did I? Naturally, I would be at least somewhat interested to attend what would be, I guess, the pseudo-replacement for what was once the mecca of gaming. And those certainly are some pretty sizable shoes to fill. I mean, look at this shit! After all, what young gamer wouldn't eventually aspire to get to go to an event like this? I mean, good God, the amount of things that were announced at this thing the last, 27 or so years was just too much for me to count, or even fathom right now, as a matter of fact. And yeah, there are plenty of other gatherings, conventions, events, expos, things like PAX, but E3 had a certain Jenny says qua about it that nothing else really had, or unfortunately has had since, at least over here in the US. Now, I am very aware that Summer Game Fest is not built in the same way. What we bought tickets to was a live 2-hour showcase of announcements and updates with the occasional Samsung advertisement or DoorDash plug. That description may not evoke a lot of confidence in it being a fun time, but I'm here to tell you that, yeah, it was pretty fun. Sitting up like this actually kind of fucking sucks, man. I keep thinking. It's actually kind of funny. I filmed this at the edge of my bed and it's memory foam. So if at any point in the video I sort of jump back up to the top, it's because I had to let the memory foam remember my ass print so that I'm not doing it down here. You know what? Maybe I should actually do the rest of the video like this. I like this framing. Anyway, the real point of the video, as you might have been able to surmise from the title, is that I'm really trying to gather my thoughts and sort of summarize how I feel, as this event was kind of formative for me, I think. Much like whenever I attend PAX West, which is, every single year, by the way, I always come back home with a new, refreshed outlook on what I do, and it reminds me of why I love what I do. It's a shame that it's only once a year because I need that reminder a lot. This is what I love doing, but as you know, emotions go up and down quite a bit the longer you do something. Now, much like that feeling I get every time I come home from PAX, I did get that same feeling from Summer Game Fest. However, this time, it was a little bit different. It was almost a little bit stronger. And the real interesting part about that is, it had very little to do with the show itself. While there is something damn near magical about physically being in a space that you've only ever seen from far away, there's something even more magical and special about getting to meet people that you have only ever seen from far away. The show was fun, but what's really sticking out in my mind, and has been the whole time, are the people I met. Few though they may have been. They're inspirations, without whom I wouldn't still be making videos. I can assure you that. And I do mean all of whom, if that's the proper way to say that. Hell, one of the people I ran into was a fan of mine, and to this day I still cannot fathom that that is something that happened. That I can run into people that have any interest in what I have to say or what it is that I am doing. It will always be just amazing and incredible to me. That fact is something that I will never take for granted, and it will always be a source of inspiration to me. A reason to keep doing this that isn't about chasing as much money as possible or as much fame as possible. The other two folks that I met are people that I aspire to be like in many ways. Level-headed, kind, thoughtful, and incredibly talented, and someday one of my dreams is to get the chance to work with them in some capacity. The want to work with people has always been a big part of me. I want to learn from those that have made me laugh and think, and someday be held in a similar regard to how I see them. I don't mean to put anybody up on a pedestal or anything like that, but I don't want to undersell the importance of people that you look up to either, and how special a very simple conversation with them can be. It's just, it feels important. And I, much like a lot of people, always want to be bettering myself. That's really what this is all about. Everything is about bettering yourself. Becoming a better version of yourself, I guess. I am constantly attempting to improve me. That's sort of a secondary goal of everything that I do, in a way. As I said before, I'm not trying to put anybody up on a pedestal, I'm trying to get across that I have serious respect for these two. The amount of laughs they've given me, the way they help me think about things and look at things differently has been super important, so it was fantastic to get the chance to meet them. Now, my brain is, shall we say, a little weird. It constantly somehow mixes up inspiration and twists it and messes it up and turns it into comparison. And as we all know, comparing yourself to others, whether they be people you love or not, is a great way to kill off any personal projects that you have. Any artistic endeavors can be murdered, so to speak, by comparing yourself to others. And it's way easier said than done to just not do that. I know better than a lot of people in terms of how hard it can be not to compare yourself to others. But when I'm talking to that person, physically, like I'm in person there with them having a conversation, my brain doesn't do that anymore. Suddenly any fears that I had about what they might think of me or what I might say or the devil that is comparison just kind of melts away. Sure, I'm nervous to approach them, but a sign of a really, really good person is when they bury those fears for you. And you go up, you say hi and you introduce yourself, and they don't want to let you go. They want to talk to you just as much as you want to talk to them. It's a life-changing thing. It really is. It may sound corny, but it is. And that's what I guess the theme of this video is a little bit corny. Because without it, what's the reason to live, really? You know, I don't really think of corn as a spice, but is it not the spice of life? What the fuck does that mean? I'm going a little off script here. I'm sorry. I have no idea why the distinction between those two is never more clear than in that moment. Because they're not even really related to each other at all. It's just something that my brain has unfortunately learned to do. I get inspired by somebody, and then in trying to use that inspiration to make something, all I can think is, but it's not as good as what they do. Who cares? That's not the point. That's not the point of any of this. I really just want to say that in meeting these people and getting to go to this show and be surrounded again by a bunch of folks that like or love the same things I do and are interested in the same things I do and see the world in many ways probably like I do, it almost feels like I'm not swimming against the current anymore. It feels like I'm starting to go with the flow, like I always should have. But I was always chasing the wrong thing up until now. I may actually have slipped into something I'm more than comfortable with doing for a long time. I'm sure what I'm making now is certainly going to evolve and be a little different, but that's not a bad thing at all. Taking this little leap to do an impromptu trip to Summer Game Fest has sort of solidified my desires and reminded me of that childhood dream that I had. Working on games, getting to be involved with people that are telling my favorite stories ever. It's let me know that this industry that I have been watching from afar is something I would like to get closer to. I want to be in this walled garden, so to speak. And no matter how shitty the powers that be are treating the most important people in this industry, there are so many more people that are making things better. From developers to content creators who just love games and really love telling stories and helping me to see those stories in new ways and understand them better. That's really all I have for you today. I know this is a little out of left field in comparison to the last few videos that I've put out, but I just really felt something, and I wanted to try and organize them as best I could. So sorry if this felt a little rambly or it didn't make much sense. I don't know, this felt right. You know, I really wanted to get my thoughts across and let people know how I was feeling, which, surprisingly right now, is good. Moods ebb and flow like so many things, but I can tell you for sure that a fire was lit in my chest that, well, I can't promise you will burn bright and strong forever. I can promise you that I am more willing than ever to keep it burning. But with all of that fun stuff being said, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for being here. If this resonated with you in any way, please leave a comment below. That's really what I want people to do. I want to see what you have to say. What do you want to contribute to this conversation? If you made it all the way to this part of the video, I would also like you at the end of your comment to put the word eggs. Just, you know, just for fun. Sorry, I'm a little bit wired at the moment. I'm gonna head off. I need to finish the Night Springs DLC for Alan Wake 2. That might have something to do with the next thing I'm working on, maybe. I don't know. Ooh. Oh, right, sorry. Where the hell am I? Am I in a closet? Oh, crap, dude. This is not good. I can't... Oh, it's locked. I'm really stuck in here now, man. Ooh, this is not good.